Hello, everyone. My name is Shay Moraga. I'm the founder of Shay's Warriors Life After Cancer. And this is our Life After Cancer podcast that we collaborate with Talk, Listen, Share, an educational small group that is led by a team of Shay's Warriors board members, our advocates and ambassadors, and local community members. It's all about life after cancer. What does that mean exactly? Well, it's just that. If you've heard the words cancer yourself, it's all about that life after and how we move forward. If you're a caretaker or a loved one of watching someone go through cancer, this show is also for you. And it is the total opinions of those of us that have gone through cancer and what we're feeling or how we can inspire others to move forward and put one foot in front of the other. Today, I have the wonderful privilege and honor to interview my friend and fellow warrior sister, Eileen. And she was nominated in 2021, right after we were out of COVID, for our very first annual I Am Hope Survivors Reset Retreat. And she came to that retreat, and there was an immediate bond with the 25 women that were there that weekend. I won't tell you too much because she is on here just waiting to share her story and inspire us all with that warrior mindset that she already has.
Hi.
Hi, Eileen. How are you?
Shay. I'm doing well, thanks. Doing pretty good.
Good. It's I love to see the big mountains behind you, the beautiful art you have.
Oh, thank you. But it was done by a local artist.
And I know this, you are also a local artist too.
Yeah, I haven't participated as much, but yes, I am. Something I owned up to after the retreat.
Good. Well, let's start with you. Tell our audience who you are and give us as much or as little as you want to share.
Okay. My name's Eileen. I was diagnosed with endometrial cancer in September of 2021. So it was decided, I'd have a hysterectomy and most likely chemotherapy. And then a few weeks later, they did a PET scan and they did find a lesion on my lung. Fortunately, that turned out not to be metastatic. It was another primary cancer. So I also had a lobectomy done. And then in December of 2021, I started, or in January, I guess it was 2022, I started chemotherapy. And so when that was done in the spring, I thought, I'm good to go. And that has not been the case. My journey continues to today because I was then had a recurrence in March of 2023. Then I had it metastasized to my brain, and I had a craniotomy. I had radiation. Then I was diagnosed with a recurrence of the brain cancer, and I was put on immunotherapy and chemotherapy. And then I was diagnosed this past fall with a lung metastasis and was treated with with radiation. And now I have a metastasis in my liver. So I'm going to have a procedure done next week. And this is where I am today. And quite frankly, as hard as it has been, it's not doable. It's something you can do that you're tested, sometimes every step of the way, but you can do it.
Like I said, as you spoke about that, right? All of these different tumors, it's like one punch, another punch, another punch, another punch, right?
Punch.
But you're smiling.
Yeah.
You're glowing.
Yeah.
And you're still willing to share your story to help others.
Well, that to me, that is what keeps me smiling. That's what keeps me going, is knowing that if I can get it out, it's also a mental release for me. But I have found along the way over these last 3 years that the more I do talk about it, there's people that have reached out to me that I've helped them, that I've made their journey easier because they've just gotten diagnosed. And that's something you don't expect. I never expected that I could help someone by sharing, what I've been through. And fortunately, I've been positive most of my life, and that has been my strength that has, kept me going.
You're definitely positive. I have been inspired by you over and over and over again since I've met you in 2022. And you never cease to amaze me, honestly. You're amazing. And you have been a warrior and a thriver for others, just like you said. I've witnessed that. I've seen you help others, and you've helped us at Shay's Warriors Life After Cancer build community that way, by sharing your story, by coming to the programs and talking to people, because you're right. When we share, it helps others heal and know that they're not alone. And I remember you at the retreat. I think you discovered that as well, that you weren't alone.
Yeah, because that's the first thing you feel. And even now, at times, you do. Even though people that have gone through it, you have your days where you just feel nobody understands. No one knows what I'm going through. No one prepares you for this. But I have been prepared. I've been to the retreat. I talk to people. But, we're human. And you have those days where it's like, oh gosh, here we go again. So
yeah. Well, speaking of that, knowing what you know now, are there things that you would do differently during your cancer journey?
Actually, reach out a little bit more than I actually have. It's too easy to think about yourself when you're in the throes of treatment or new diagnoses. And for some of us, that means you shut down a little bit. And that's not what we need to do. We need to really open up. And that's sometimes really, really difficult to do. But once you do, the day goes by much better. The diagnosis is, much more easy to accept. And you realize there are a lot of people that want to listen to you or they want to help you. If you don't tell them what's going on, they have no idea, And if you look okay, which fortunately through most of this I've looked okay, they assume that you feel okay. And that is not the case every day of the week, we disguise it well.
Yep. That's definitely true. Definitely true.
And I mean, that's good too. I mean, you want people to know that, your life goes on and you can be happy and you can smile, but it's also a false premise that, there are things lying underneath us that are bothering us, or we're in pain, or we're sad. And unfortunately, that's when you need to reach out. And that's when I sometimes don't. And I don't think that's understood by people outside of the cancer community or any kind of, terminal illness or, disability or whatever. We tend to look at, we see what we want to see. And you look at me, and because my attitude, everything's great, but it's not. And I've even had to talk to, some of my doctors about that. Like when I was in rehab right after my hospitalizations, just because you see this and I look fine, you don't know what's going on inside here.
Right.
And it can be a struggle. So
mindset is huge.
It is huge. It is huge. It is huge. And you have to face your emotions. The one thing that I've learned, especially this year, because this year has been one thing after another, is that I have to get angry. I don't always allow myself to get angry, because to get angry, then I can find my sense of humor. And when I find my sense of humor, I name things, and that helps me laugh. As you well know, I've named my tumors, and that brings a smile to my face and anyone will tell, because it was such a strong name that it gave me power. You don't have a lot of control over this, and by naming them, I do have control. So
you took your power back. So the next question is going to be is, tell us the name.
MFer.
MFer. And is it MFer 1, 2, and 3? Is it A, B, and C? Or did you name each and every single one of them?
I haven't named each and every one of them. I now call them the family, the MFer family, because there's 9. So after I think the third one, I thought, well, it has to be a family now. And then, and that has added to the humor, because they keep invading, and, I have to keep fighting, and they don't realize who they're up against. So, I have to give them more ammunition, and, so it goes on. And that, and I share that on Facebook, and that helps others, and it helps me, get it out in a humorous way to also let people know, you have to be positive. You have to have a sense of humor, even in the darkest times. And for me, that is my go-to when I get there. I mean, the thing that I've learned, one of the lessons I've learned, is that because I am a positive person, it's been hard sometimes to realize that I have to now fight for that positivity, that I can't always get to there as soon as I used to. And that's where the anger and the sense of humor comes in. So, yeah.
People, it's so important that you talk about the anger and the humor, and kind of the yin and the yang.
Mm-hmm.
We have that on the website, which if you go to the Shay's Warriors website, you see there's a hand, and it flicks the sky, and that's light and dark, day and night. And that is the journey of survivorship, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
It definitely is.
It is a Jekyll and Hyde type of thing that not everyone understands. We don't want them to understand, but it is work, and maybe some of the hardest work after you're done with treatment, or if you are forever doing treatment, like some of us are.
Yeah. And, and not everything is, method that you've either come up upon yourself, or you've read about, or like I learned at Shay's Warriors, is going to work. As you well know, there was one week I just felt like screaming. So I'm unable to drive right now, which, it's always great to scream in the car. So I couldn't do that. I thought, well, if I take my little walk down the street, I might scare somebody if I scream out loud. So I was sitting in my living room. My husband was asleep, but I didn't want to wake him up. So I did a silent scream. And, this is what a silent scream sounds like. It cracked me up. It released so much more emotion. And I started to laugh. I didn't expect to laugh. And I felt so much better. I think I felt even better than if I would have gone outside and screamed, because that's more of a normal thing to do. So, you got to come up with things to, just make you laugh.
Yeah, definitely. And so that brings me to my next question. You've kind of already answered that a little bit, but what have you incorporated in your life that has contributed to your thrivership? Because you are thriving with that mindset and that positivity still.
Taking ownership when I can has really helped. Relying on my friends has really helped. More than I thought, because people say they're there for you, and you realize that people really are. But being vulnerable enough to ask for them for the help has helped me thrive, because it not only lets them know I'm either having a good day or a bad day, but also by them helping me, I get a chance to interact. And that, whenever you can interact with people, it just makes the day so much better. And in some days, because I am unable to get out like I used to, that human contact is really important for survivorship and thriving for me. One thing I've done too, because I was drawing there for a while, and I can't. So I find audiobooks have helped, because it kind of, I have headphones, so it's right on my head, and it takes me out of myself, which writing always did. I mean, drawing always did, and that helps.
One of the things that the audience might not know, and I know, but tell our audience why you can't draw at this moment.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I got the brain tumors, I started to have trouble with my vision. And I also had trouble with my dexterity and my hand and my eye working together. And that all came from the brain tumors, because they were, the one tumor was 3.5 inches, and it was on my temporal lobe, my occipital lobe, and my parietal lobe. And then I had one on my frontal lobe as well, smaller one. So the damage it caused, I lost peripheral vision in my left eye. And I just found out I also have vision loss in the left part of my right eye. And what that does is you can't, your perception is gone. And there's a mind and hand, there's a mind and body connection. I have a mind and body disconnection. And so when I try to draw, I can't always connect lines, and I can't see like I used to. And it's not my vision, it's the brain and my eyes don't connect like they used to. So I don't have a blurred vision per se, but close-up stuff or anything I have to concentrate on, I can either lose track, or it's just the detail. I can't see the detail. So it's taken that away. I've done it a little bit, and I want to try to do more, because, what happens is you think of what you used to be able to do, and you got to move forward and take it for where I am now. And it's not going to be the same. So move on, just do it. So
thank you for sharing that, because I think that part of the education for Shay's Warriors is, because if we were just watching this show, you look normal, right?
Yeah.
You don't look like you're going through what you're going through right now. You've got beautiful hair, you're smiling, you're glowing, you're positive. This is a story and the ongoing journey for you in life after cancer.
Right.
So,
yeah, because
yeah,
I also, the right, as you all know, the right side of my body, when in April, when a new tumor appeared and one grew twice its size in my brain, I lost control of my right side for about 5 days. And then, I lost it, and then it came back over 5 days. But what it has left me with is a right leg that has a mind of its own. I don't walk well. I walk with a walker now. So, doing everything takes me a lot longer. And this is where that acceptance comes in. I've had to accept it at many different levels. And a lot of it has been more the physical things that I can't do anymore, I'm unable to do anymore. That has been harder to deal with than the cancer itself.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's something that people don't see, especially with the vision stuff. They have no idea.
Right. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Because I know this has come up. What should people not say to a cancer patient or a survivor?
Well, I think they mean well. You know what I mean? I've had moments where people have said things or asked me something. It's like, oh, I think the worst thing that they can say are the do's and don'ts. You know, don't eat sugar, you know, don't do this. You know, my aunt did this and, you know, she's surviving. And, you know, we're all different. All our cancers are different. All our treatments are different. What works for me will not work for you. There's no one fix for all of us. And so when people try to tell us what we can do to either help ourselves, you know, it's different if they've been through cancer and something helped. But, you know, when it's someone just trying to say, you know, if you do this, you're going to feel better, or it's going to stop the cancer, or they do themselves a big favor, and the people they're talking to, by not saying anything about doing or don't, you know. Yeah.
Give me an inspirational quote or word that you have had since your journey started that has just stuck with you.
Courage is fear that has said its prayers.
Say that again.
Courage is fear that has said its prayers.
Courage is fear that has said its prayers. Yeah. Why do you pick that?
Well, because there's a lot of fear that can go on with cancer. And to me, it's very positive to say that through prayers, you know, meditation or whatever, you can turn that fear into courage.
Beautiful.
And actually, that quote has been with me for a long time. And it has got me through, like, the deaths of my parents. You know, there's been a few things, and it really hit home with the cancer. And I don't know if it's that or just because I do have, you know, a lot of faith and a lot of positivity. The fear has not been that strong for me. I'm not saying I don't fear things, but it's not what keeps me up at night. You know, I can be worried, don't get me wrong, I worry, but and that has surprised me. I've not been afraid from the get-go. I was not afraid it was going to come back. I was not afraid of any of the treatment I was going to have. Now, of course, I have scan anxiety and appointment anxiety that I never had before. But that comes from the mind and the body connecting in a different way with experiences. It's a post-traumatic stress that I never expected to have, and no one tells you about unless they've been through it. Because not even the medical community, I think, realizes how much post-traumatic stress this causes. So, and you don't even realize it until all of a sudden you're reacting in a way. My body physically now will react in a way it never did before a treatment or whatever. Even things, you know, I mean, I never minded going through chemotherapy. I don't like the after effects, but, you know, going in for the treatment itself, or even the immunotherapy now, the treatment itself is not bad, but it has triggered something in me that the weekend before I go, because mine are on a Monday, there's a difference in the way that I feel, or maybe even that whole weekend, I won't feel right. You know, it's weird how it happens.
Yeah, I mean, when someone tells you you have cancer from the get-go, you go into fight or flight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And your whole body is just like it's on vibrations until, you know, you feel safe again. And for some of us, we never feel safe again.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's, for me, as the journey goes on, that's been more and more. Like I said, at first, you know, I just thought I was good to go, you know, everything, you know, stage 1 for crying out loud, stage 1B, grade 3, good to go, no problem, you know. Not saying that you don't think it can ever come back or whatever, but never dwelled on it because it just seemed like it was going to be something that I went through and it was going to be in my past. But actually, it was preparing me for the now, you know. And everything I've learned along the way is preparing me for now.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Two questions.
Sure.
this kind of goes hand in hand. What does survivorship now mean to you?
That I'm still here, that I get to share my story, that I get to help others, that I get to keep on fighting, and that it's doable. I think that is the biggest thing that I've learned throughout all of it, is that I remember before I ever had cancer, you hear about people's treatments, and automatically I would say, I don't think I could ever do that. I don't know how they're doing that. Well, you do it. You don't even think about it. You just do it. And it continues that way, Like people say, how are you doing? I'm still standing, And there were times this year I didn't know if that was going to happen. So that's what survivorship is. And it's day by day. But I'm here to do it, here to tell my story.
What did the I Am Hope Survivors Reset Retreat mean to you?
Oh, everything. Because there is that it's a weird thing that happens when your treatment is done. You wonder, what do I do now? You don't really know, because there's kind of a surreal thing that goes on when you're in treatment. So my whole life right now has been surreal, but and you've had that feeling of being alone. So being at the retreat with 24, 25 people that have been through what I've been through, cancer and treatment, everybody knew what that was like. So and we were in a safe environment. So it was easy to share. But it was more the listening to other people's stories that realized really at that moment how fortunate I was with the treatment I had, being the age that I am going through this. There was a lot more that started to make me appreciate and see the more positive sides of where I was at than some other people at that point in time. But I think one of the most important things that meant to me was not only meeting these people that have been through and understood what I've gone through, but it made us get in touch with ourselves, kind of really dig deep. And that's when I accepted me for who I am. I was one of those people, so easy to go through life, people compliment you. People, would say, oh, you never drew before. Oh my gosh, you're such a good artist or whatever. And, you just kind of shove it off. Well, it's like I just said earlier, it was when I left that retreat, I was driving home and I owned up to the fact that I was an artist. I never accepted that before. And that allowed me the confidence to join my friend, and we put a book together with my art and her poems. I would not have done that because I was fighting her on it of, getting together with her and doing it. And now I'm glad I did. It's a beautiful book, and I have a legacy that I've left behind. So
it is a beautiful book and beautiful drawings and poems. And
thanks.
So heartwarming that you and your best friend were able to do that together.
Yeah. And survive that because, that was one of my concerns, is that, we're such good friends and been friends a long time, to work on a project like that. But oh my gosh, it worked like clockwork. We never argued. It just went perfectly. Really did. It was a good experience.
All right. 2 more questions. I want you to answer finish the question, or finish the sentence. Sorry, not really questions. Life after cancer is something to celebrate because
one thing, you're alive. You're able to continue doing what you either wanted to do or do new things. For me, celebrating it means that, I get to do another day. So
love that. And then there is life after cancer, and it is
a gift. A gift that is doable. Yeah.
Gift that is doable. Is beautiful. Is there anything else that you would like to tell or share to anyone who's watching this and maybe just starting out their journey, or they're finished and they're alone, or
Join,
they're
join
trying?
Shay's Warriors for one thing, if they're not
I didn't pay
already.
you to say that either.
No, she did not. You know, get involved in a community that understands what you're going through. You know, it's a support group. And even though I haven't always reached out when I should, I always know they're there. And there's a comfort in that, because when I do have the opportunity to talk to people like this morning, you know, it's just an instant connection that you need. You need that connection.
And we have, for those of you that are watching, we have both in-person and virtual emotional, spiritual, movement, and educational groups. So if you're located in the Palm Springs area, twice a month, we have 2 in person. And during the same time, we have online virtual. And I know we just had one of ours today. And I know you were at the virtual, and I was at the in person. Because even after my diagnosis and doing what I've been doing now for since 2016, I still need to hear these inspirational stories and be uplifted by those that are just like you.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And I think, you know, people need to know that life after cancer is a lifelong journey. It's never over, good, bad, or indifferent. Once you've had cancer, there's either side effects, you know, from treatment that can crop up years later or continue from treatment on. And I think for me, that is something that's been really eye-opening, is that, you know, you've got to realize that this is your life now. But you can do it. Try to do it with a smile on your face. But realize that, you know, it's a lifelong journey.
Well, we have come up on our time.
Okay.
Are there any other parting words that you would like to say or share?
Just, you know, live your life the best you can. Be grateful as much as you can, but also deal with what you have to deal with. You know, if you have to be sad, be sad. Deal with all the emotions that you go through, because it just will help.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Your amazing story and being a part of our community at Shay's Warriors Life After Cancer. You are an inspiration to all those that know you, near and far. And you are an inspiration to me because this is why I do what I do on a daily basis, is to get us all into a place where we can have that warrior mindset.
Yeah.
To continue to move forward, because forward's the only way we can go.
Yeah, it's true. Very true. Yeah. You got to put one foot in front of the other, and not backwards, forwards.
That's right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And love you.
Love you too. Love you too. And thank you for you. Thank you for the organization. It's helped so many of us.
Thank you.
That.
Well, thank you everyone for watching and listening to our dear, dear friend, Eileen.
Thanks.
And if you love what we do, if you want to join any of our programs, Talk, Listen, Share, Coffee and Connections, if you want to share your story, let us give you that platform to do that. Go to shayswarriors.org and connect with us. Sign up during the programs, come to one of our fun events, and it's a ripple effect. There is a huge community that is here for you. My name is Shay. I thank you, and good night.